My 37 male wife 39 female just told me that she initially faked love when we were dating me only for the money and admitted to cheating on me. But she claims that she fell in love with me after we got married. I need some advice here. My wife and I have been married for 8 years and we dated for a long time before that. I own my family business, fashion and jewelry. We have 2 daughters. First off, I'll be honest with you guys. I am not an attractive person. I look average at best. I don't have a chiseled body, but I am fit. My wife is really beautiful and I always wondered what she saw in me. I was bald at 19, so I hope you guys get the picture. When I was in my 20s, I was very awkward and introverted. I didn't date many girls, because no one was interested in me. I met my wife in college. We had similar interests and I fell in love with her. I asked her out and she said yes. I was on cloud 9, and we never looked back. Yesterday was our anniversary. We had a small celebration. When we were about to sleep, my wife started crying. I was really worried because I did not understand why. She hugged me and told me that she wanted to confess something. She ended up telling me that she faked her love for me when we were dating. She also told me that she cheated on me when we were dating, but she fell in love with me a couple of years after we got married. She told me that she really matured at that time and realized that I was the most important person in her life. She also claims that she never cheated on me once we got married. She told me because she really felt guilty. She told me that she would do everything to make it up. I was really devastated. I always kind of wondered what she saw in me, and I think I have my answer now. I am broken. I also know that I only know this because she confessed. I don't know what to do and I need help moving past this. This is really hard. Deception is so hard to overcome. If I were in your shoes, I would ask myself if she has been a good wife to me. I would ask if she is a good mother to my children. I would ask if I could see her being a partner for me going forward. Ask her what she thinks she should do to make this up to you. Because you don't know anything that could do that. She made the plans to lie and cheat. She needs to make the plans to repair it. Ask so many questions and use the answers to make your decision going forward. Tell her that while this happened years ago for her, it just happened for you. Tell her that if you can forgive her, that it will involve years, not days. That you will ask her uncomfortable questions that she will be tempted to not answer fully or lie. Tell her that any hedging or omission will break the trust even further. That when you ask a question that you expect the full answer even if that answer will hurt you more. Tell her that she has lied by omission to you for your entire marriage and that all the lies have to stop immediately. Don't be hasty. The temptation will be to divorce and not look back. That very well may be the right decision. But make that decision as much with your head as with your heart. You have 2 daughters to think of too. Think of what will be better for them. A loving house if you can forgive. A hateful house if you can't, or 2 separate loving houses. I'll give you a hint, it isn't 2. You are tied to your wife through your daughters for the rest of your life. That you must realize now you can't avoid. But you can choose if you want to be tied directly to her. That you can decide. I can say nothing positive about the cheating. I would ask you to realize that people marry for reasons beyond love all the time. They can have stunningly successful marriages that were born out of necessity, arrangement, societal pressures or financial desires. I've seen it all. So try not to judge her too harshly on her reasons for marrying you. She did choose to tie her life to yours. She made the choice that you were superior to every great-looking guy to spend her life with you. Yesterday you had someone finally opened up and admitted their terrible past misdeeds. Yesterday she finally truthfully told you that she loved you. Some people never hear someone honestly say to them that they are loved. While yesterday was horrible in so many ways, it was also a chance to take your marriage to the next level. It will be hard, if not impossible, to overcome this. I can't imagine your pain right now, but remember to use both your head and your heart. Make this decision slowly. Don't be afraid if you choose to continue life's journey with her or without her, but do whichever on your own terms. Edit. Thank you, kind Redditor, for the silver thingamabob. And the second silver thing. And now gold. Thanks. Okay, for those who have rewarded me or told me my advice is great, thank you. For those who think my advice sucks donkey balls, thank you. Feedback is a gift, both the positive the negative. Might want to get a paternity test just to be sure. And an STD test, lol. I would have her sign a post-nup that covers at the bare minimum everything you had when you came into the relationship. If she's truly serious about it, she will sign it. If she doesn't, then you'll know right away. If she does sign it, I recommend you take a few months and decide where you want to be. Don't be too close. Don't be too distant. People act like divorce is such an instant thing, but it usually takes months or years of thoughts and processing. If it were me, I would leave as soon as the post-nup is signed. Second story. My 45 male wife 42 female revealed she was unfaithful and I am divorcing her. Our children 15 female 17 male hate me for it. Edit. Guys, I appreciate the advice, but I am not asking on how to get past the infidelity. I've made my decision, and it's not something I am willing to forgive. I am looking for advice on how to handle this with my kids, and how to reassure them we can still be a family even if we aren't married. My wife and I have been together for 18 years. We had our ups and downs, but overall our marriage has been solid and she was my best friend. We've always been very close with our children and have raised them very much as a unit. And in turn they're very close to us. About 2 weeks ago I brought up an advice column in the paper I had read regarding infidelity and talked about it for a bit. And I could see she had clearly started to tear up and was attempting to hide it. So I asked her what was bothering her. She confessed that about 7 years ago she cheated on me with a former co-worker on a business trip. And then once with him after that, before breaking it off due to guilt. This was around the time she left that job for a new one, which she had told me back then was due to feeling like it wasn't a good fit, but now confesses was because she didn't want to work with him anymore. She says she never had a good reason for it. She knew it was wrong then but gave into the urge and nothing has ever happened since. Claims she confessed now as she can't live with the guilt of hiding it from me. We talked about for the next 3 days when the kids were in school while trying our best not to let them know while they were home. I realized I knew I'd never be able to let this go. Nor would I be able to forgive her. She's distraught. We sat our kids down to tell them about the fact our marriage was ending. Obviously this was extremely tough. They acted as one could expect and blame was thrown at both of us. My wife and I agreed to tell them it was mutual. But I guess guilt got the better of her again because she ends up crying and telling them not to blame me. That she betrayed my trust in the past and just told me now. And that it's all her fault. This had the opposite effect that she intended. And now both our kids absolutely resent me for not forgiving mom and ruining our family. My wife has repeatedly tried to put blame back on herself, which only makes the kids double down and defend her more as if she's the victim. I don't want to drag their mother through the mud, so I am trying to explain as tactfully as I can. But they're gone as far as saying that when I get my own apartment they don't want to see me anymore and refuse my suggestion of seeing a therapist together and reject the idea that I still plan to see them on a regular basis and be on good terms with their mother. My wife isn't helping matters as she's been an emotional wreck since I've told her of my plan to leave. I love my kids, but I don't know how to make them understand this without dragging their mother through the mud. I don't know how to assure them this has nothing to do with them or that I am not trying to punish or hurt their mom. I just know that I cannot get past this. And for my own happiness I need to leave. Any suggestions on how to get them to stop seeing me as the villain would be helpful. Too long didn't read. Wife revealed past infidelity. I am leaving. Kids hate me for it. It's such a tough situation because as kids being loved unconditionally by their parents and vice versa. It's so hard for them to see that your love for their mother is actually conditional. It's going to take a while for the sting to dissipate for everyone involved. Just stay level-headed around them and always reassure them of your love for them, even when you feel like they're hating you. I see it a little differently. The kids are understandably taking the crumbling of their nuclear family hard and from their POV. The only thing that could save it is if dad forgave mom. If you've grown up in an intact nuclear family, even if you've seen friends' parents divorce and blended families around you, it can be very hard to accept that it's now falling apart, especially when there is nothing you can do about it. I went through this in a slightly different. When our dad died, all 4 kids were already 20+ adults, and have continued to reel due to everything that has followed, including our mother getting remarried a few years later. My grief over the nuclear family in which I grew up continues. In addition to my grief over my dad, it will probably get worse when we finally have kids. We're trying, because my mother has a new husband, but my kids are out a grandfather and my dad. And my kids will never be able to visit their grandparents at my childhood home. I moved overseas, but comforted by the fact that my parents and home would still be there, and really looked forward to taking them home for visits in the future, etc. OP. Please try to get the kids into therapy of some kind. Therapy for yourself might help you figure out how to best navigate this for your kids. I'd recommend separate therapy for all in lieu of family therapy. And if they don't like their first therapist, try another. It might take a few tries to find the right fit. Therapy can be expensive and it isn't any sort of quick fix. But goddamn what I wouldn't give for my mother at least to have started therapy right after my dad died or at all. To be honest, so much could have been handled with so much less pain and hurt. But therapy has helped me navigate my complicated feelings regarding my own past and present and future, much of which is very heavily tied to my family and how it has fallen apart. Third story. My wife, 37 female and I, 39 male, entered into an open marriage at her request. Now she wants to close it up again. Relationship advice. My wife and I have been married for 15 years. We have 2 children, a 14-year-old girl and a 12-year-old boy. About a year and a half ago, my wife came to me asking for an open marriage. She said she was bored with just us and wanted to experience more. I was very against this, as I am a strong believer that marriage is between 2 people. At the same time, when we got married I'd had 5 sexual partners and my wife had only been with me. She made it clear that either we opened things up or she was prepared to file for divorce. Neither of us wanted that, so I agreed under certain conditions. Nobody brought back to the house. We don't talk about partners. The kids don't know. Family doesn't know. All partners are tested ahead of time. Nobody that we both know, etc. I had a strong suspicion that my wife had someone in mind, and this was confirmed when 24 hours after we agreed, she went out and didn't return until 4 a.m. It was difficult for me to accept, and I was really not okay with it, but I wanted to save my marriage. Last May I met Amber. Our daughters are in marching band together. Amber is divorced and has no interest in getting married again. Like everyone else in the world, she does have needs. So 5 months after opening up the marriage, I began sleeping with Amber. At first it felt like cheating, but honestly it's nice to have something no strings where neither of us wants it to proceed forward. Over time I became comfortable with the idea that my wife and I would be able to get our needs met both inside and outside of our marriage. It actually made our ex-life a lot more passionate, and we were much happier. My wife and her side guy, who I never met, stopped seeing each other in April amid coronavirus. From what I gather, while he's in an open marriage, his wife is not aware, and it was too hard to get away. In May we helped organize a Zoom concert for the band kids, which turned out great, though my wife met Amber for the first time. Well, I guess Amber has been open with a few of the moms because it got back to my wife that Amber was my outside partner. My wife informed me that as we both know Amber, I needed to end things with her. I refused, citing the fact that neither of us knew her ahead of time, and the meeting did not violate the rules we established. Throughout the past month she's numerous times told me that she's uncomfortable with me continuing to sleep with Amber and I need to conclude the arrangement. Note that she was fine for a year where she was with her partner. This weekend she came to me and stated that she'd like to close our marriage again. I told her I was open to that as long as we agreed that it would remain closed moving forward. She agreed that's what she wants as well, that she doesn't need to have any more partners, that she's happy with just me. I told her that we could agree to close the marriage on 2 conditions. The first I laid out above. The second, I wanted her to sign a document waiving spousal support in the event of divorce. She flipped out. She categorically refused to even consider that. My wife is a Psalm and has not worked since we got married. She said that I could keep seeing Amber and leave her with nothing if she signed that. I told her that I'd be willing to include a list of mutually agreed upon situations including infidelity on my part where the agreement would be void. She says it's not open for discussion, that she's not going to continue to be cheated on and left with nothing when I decide to leave her for Amber. I pointed out that this whole thing was her idea and that I only went along with it to preserve our marriage. She says that if we don't close the marriage up, then it might as well be over. I told her that I am not going to tolerate being threatened with divorce every time she doesn't get her way. She says I am being dramatic and I need to focus on us. Should I agree without stipulations? I know there's no future with Amber as we both agreed it's purely physical, and even though I know I am standing my ground, I feel like I am blowing up my marriage over a dead end. At the same time, I don't believe it's about Amber at all. Too long didn't read. My wife asked for an open marriage. I reluctantly agreed. Now that she's no longer seeing her outside partner, she wants to close it up again. Fourth story. My wife F30 told me that she cheated on me. I'm 28 and I honestly don't know what to do. We have been married for over 5.5 years. I love her so much. We finally got our own place on December 2018 and things were looking up for us. These 5 years were so magical and I always told myself that through all of our trials in life, that I would marry her again. This past Tuesday, my lead told us that we can VTO volunteer time off. I work night shift so my co-worker gave me a ride home. My wife and I share a car. When he dropped me off, I noticed that our car wasn't parked in our parking spot. I thought that she parked somewhere else. As soon as I went inside, I went to our bedroom so that I can kiss her and surprise her and let her know that I am home. The plan was to make her breakfast before she woke up to go to work. She wasn't in the room. She wasn't home. So I called her and asked her where she was. When she answered, she sounded like she just woke up. My heart broke because I had a feeling of what was going on. She made an excuse that she was at the store to get balloons for co-worker's birthday. I gave her the benefit of the doubt. So I was in bed and she finally got home after 30 minutes of waiting. She sat on the bed and I asked her if she was okay. She wouldn't answer and began to cry. Then after 5 minutes of asking of what's going on, she told me that she cheated on me. She said that she went out and talked to someone, got drunk and it just happened. I am sad. I honestly thought this would never happen to me. I don't know what to do. We had a long talk about our marriage and what we would do. We agreed that we would try to work it out. But at this time, 96/0545, I am strongly considering and divorcing her. I can't even look at her anymore. The thought of hugging her, kissing her, touching her makes me sick to my stomach. She wants to work it out, but my heart isn't in it anymore. What should I do? Am I overreacting? I honestly thought of killing myself. I am so sad. She was my everything. Too long didn't read. Wife confessed to cheating. I am so sad. Thinking of killing myself. What do I do? Thank you. Edit to say just got back from my long ass walk since posting this 0500 PST. I am so surprised for the support. 3 Thanks to all that replied to me with your advice. I still love her, and ultimately, even though it is tough for me, I forgive her. Time will heal this pain, and honestly, I love her too much to end this. We have been through so much and have so many wonderful memories. I honestly can't imagine being with another person. She is truly sorry that she cheated on me. Most won't agree with this, but I will give her another chance and see where this goes. And no, I won't kill myself. I promise. I really appreciate your concerns and replies. It makes me happy that you all took time out of your busy lives to reply to me. Take care everyone, and I'll update as time goes on. 3 Update 0913. I have been reading the comments. I understand that to most it is stupid that I am still with her. I understand. Trust me, we have been talking a lot. She is truly sorry and I forgive her. I put her mistake behind me and I am looking forward in fixing our marriage. We plan on going to therapy soon so that we can talk it out. The reason why we haven't gone yet is because we have to work, because there are bills that we are paying off. We will be debt free by the end of 2019. But we will go sometimes next week. We are working this out. We are still living together. We are communicating more and more about what we need to do to improve our marriage and love life. Honestly, it has been going well. Things are looking up because soon I will be transferring to day shift so that I can spend time with her, sleep with her, and have the normal schedule that I have been longing for. I still want her in my life and I don't see divorce. We will work this out. Again, thank you all for helping me in my time of need. I am really grateful that you all took the time in giving me advice. It helps. I'll update as time goes on. 3. I would really question this too. The off chances that she was out that one night he came home. Way too out of a movie. I'd be aware and look into this more. Ask her in detail if there were any other times. Who is the guy? Maybe contact the dude to see if they've met before. If she tells you all this, there's a higher chance she's telling the truth. But I wouldn't take her word for it directly or think you love her and should forgive her. If she loved you as much, she wouldn't have had to have gone out and done this in the first place. Also, getting drunk is not an excuse for actions. She's a grown woman. She should know her limit, know when to head home, etc. And why would she take the car if she had planned to get that drunk? Or drink at all? She had planned to stay the night somewhere, or maybe she risked getting drunk and into an accident. It seemed like she knew she would stay the night somewhere knowing you wouldn't be home. My 2 cents, but I'd really suggest being skeptical. Don't drop your self-respect of what you deserve. You work late nights, long hours probably for your family, for your wife. You don't work for her to cheat on you. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.